Okay, guys, welcome to StockSnowball.net, the channel. Basically, former DSF. This is going to be a book review on the taking of Getty Oil, the full story of the most spectacular and catastrophic takeover of all time. And in the 1980s, this was the largest takeover when it happened at the time, and very interesting. If you're into, you know, acquisitions, takeovers, different, being a lawyer, how the banks, big banks like Goldman Sachs and different banks talk to each other, how the lawyers interact, how the whole deal comes together. This is a great book, and it gives you a lot of insight, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, kind of like I did Harriman versus Hill. This one was a little different. This was Gordon Getty. John Paul Getty founded Getty Oil. He basically built it up, died in 1976. He built the Sarah Getty Trust is a trust that was kind of formed for the family in 1934, and it was kind of when he passed away, it was supposed to have co-trustees that were in charge. Now, John Paul Getty had multiple children with different women, so they were kind of half brothers. And what ended up happening is one of the co-trustees died that John Paul picked, and it ended up letting one of his sons, Gordon Getty, become the sole trustee of the Sarah Getty Trust, and it owned 40% of Getty Oil. This kind of goes back to what I was talking about before. When you're a founder and you built a company and you pass away, it's hard to build that dynasty because that second or the children have to have the same kind of gift and the same kind of love that you did to build it up. And that's why I always tell people, they always want to put in all these taxes and do all this crazy stuff, but the system works well. There's a lot of upward movement and downward movement. Within generations, you can build a dynasty, and the children of different successful people can be back with a rat race, or not have the influence they did. And it's all based on individual risk taking, goals, motivation, and stuff. So John Paul Getty, built this company. Basically, Gordon Getty ended up having a 40% stake through the Sarah Getty Trust, and he was looking, he didn't really have the emotional tie to the business. He thought in his mind that his father thought the best thing to do was to, buy low, sell high, and he needed to maximize value. Another player in this was a museum founded by, I think, John Paul Getty, that had 12% stake in the company. So the two of them put together could own 12% of Getty Oil. So if Gordon could get the museum management on his side, he could always, do what he wanted to have a plan. Now, there's a little bit of a clash in this book between Getty Oil's management and Gordon Getty, which naturally you would think, and the book does a good job of explaining all this. I also wanted to mention in this book, it was the 1980s, and, fracking really didn't start until about 2008 when, if you read the book, The Frackers and stuff, when the technology became feasible, different, you got to get into all that history, but when actually that kind of technology took off. So in the 80s, they were starting to think there was peak oil, and, they needed to diversify. Getty Oil's management created ESPN, that we all know now. They had an insurance company, so they were looking to, kind of get away from that core business. I don't think companies should really do that, and it's proved a lot of things for a lot of companies in the 80s that were like Budweiser. I think was getting into theme parks. I know Pepsi had like Taco Bell and stuff. There's different companies that were doing different things, but Getty Oil was trying to get into ESPN broadcasting and the insurance company and not focusing on oil, and that's where Gordon Getty kind of was thinking that he could make more money doing some kind of transaction. The book goes into all the different scenarios that were thought out. Very interesting, like I said, when you read it. Other players in the book were Pennzoil and Texaco. And, they both make their deals. I'm not trying to give anything away because if you read the book or if you don't know the history, it's pretty awesome. The one big thing is at the end of the book, there's a trial. And the trial is very interesting how it even gets set up and how the destination even gets to Texas. One thing that really brought to light was it had a jury trial. And, jury trials are supposed to be of the peers. And when I the people they picked for the trial, it could be regular ordinary people. Let's just say a principal, a janitor, small business guy. But the thing was, when you have a deal, the biggest deal of the time between two large oil companies, and you're just picking people off the street that don't have any business savvy, business sense. I mean, they don't even know how to value companies. I just thought that the trial at the end and what the jury came up with was it wasn't a trial of peers. They should have had business people that could actually, understand, what companies are worth, at least how deals are broken down and stuff. And I just thought it's thoroughly disappointing. The results that happened from this takeover merger in the courts, and man, I don't even know how that could go down like that with some of these the jury's thoughts at the end. So, anyways, I'm not gonna let blow anything, but just know that I was thoroughly disappointed with how stupid the jury was, to put it blunt. So, if you read this book, let me know what you think. Like I said, I really found it fascinating, all the back and forth and stuff like that. Steve Cole does a great job. It's very hard to make a book like this because you have to go through a lot of testimony, from different court, or you have to talk to in different interviews, and people's memories and stuff could always be different and all that. So um, I think he did a great job. You learn a lot of history, just with the oil industry in general, and how different mergers and stuff happen. Um, it almost makes you be a lawyer or investment banker. Looks like a real fun job a lot of times. Um, Going one more thing here, Gordon Getty. I think his goals in this book, he ended up doing what he thought was best and what he thought his father might thought. Me personally, I think I might have had a little, I guess, more emotion in keeping the family business and trying to really realize how how much that business was worth, and try to maybe get more control of the business through buybacks and stuff, what they were talking about in the book. I might have took a longer term view, basically. But overall, like I said, it happened how it happened, and this book was a great way to show it. And um, yeah, I mean, one last thing here, if you read the book and stuff, I pretty much would side with Texaco. I know uh, Pennzoil was there, Getty. I just think different. If you see how everything played out, I kind of agree with what happened, or not. I agree with Texaco's version of the whole story. Okay, one last thing. My next book here I'm reading is going to be Speculator, Doug Casey and John Hunt, High Ground. It's a fiction, but it's there's a lot of good advice and stuff what I've been listening to different people's channels talk about. So I'm going to read this. Be a little more. It'll be a little entertaining on the fiction side. Like I said, this one's a true story that happened. Um, the Harriman versus Hill was a great back and forth. This one's a great back and forth. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching the channel, and give me your feedback, and let me know if you read the book.